All right, everybody, how are we today? The patriotic gringo coming at you to explain why I left the United States and why I don't plan on going back anytime soon. And it really comes down more or less to just the country's changed. It's really, and I don't want to say this as like put myself in a box, but as like a white, straight Christian male, it's just not a place to be anymore. And this kind of goes into just how it's politics and how the country's really changed from this place that used to be really fun to go. You know, growing up, going to public school outside of Minneapolis, outside of North Minneapolis, we had all sorts of friends. We had Asian, Hispanic, you know, African American, black, white. It didn't matter, and it never mattered. And growing up, you know, watching a lot of great shows that Steve Urkel and Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel Air and all these shows that just you'd never thought about it as like a racial tension type thing. And what's happened now is honestly, it's just not fun to really be in there anymore. Everything has become so political. Everything has become so racial, and it's just like I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be put in a box for, you know, where I, what my, you know, religion, skin, or my racial character is made of. It's not important to me. So I have moved here. I am currently. Let me go down here, and let me actually bring this back up and float this on top. And I am currently here in what's called Leon, Nicaragua. It's right here. You can see it on this little map. I've been living here now for close to 2 years. Things got really, really heavy during the Trump administration. And if you believed in anything conservative or Republican, the left or the people on the other end would really put you in a box, call you, you know, white supremacist. They'd call you a Nazi. They call you all these just horrific names just for having different political ideas than them. And it goes to even some of the ideas like how President Trump was trying to, you know, build a wall in between the United States and Mexico. So let me show you where Mexico is here as you kind of zoom out. A lot of this border here has a lot of issues, and they're not issues to keep out the Mexican or the Central American people. They're issues to prevent drugs, guns, and what I think is really the most important issue, and that's the human trafficking and the amount of women and such that are being carried across this border without their know-how. I mean, if you actually do a lot of research, if you live here in Central America, you know that a lot of these women are, you know, they're put on like birth controls and stuff because they know that going across that frontera or that border, it's going to a lot of times they get raped and things like that. And that's why I'm really pro like securing the United States now with these days with COVID and stuff. It's like we're all being locked down within the United States, or when I say we, it's the American people. Yet now with the Biden administration, we have an open border policy, which is just letting the cases of COVID and stuff from Central and Mexico, Central America and Mexico, go right into the United States. So it's honestly just mind-boggling that people can support these kind of ideas because honestly, it's pretty evil to lock people up. I have friends that are going crazy up north that can't get out, aren't able to do, you know, their routine stuff like go to the bar and socialize, and older people who can't see their kids or their grandkids, and the schools are closed, and yet we have this policy here that has opened up the borders. So I've found it really great to be down here in Central America, mostly Nicaragua. I've been through pretty much every country here except for, I believe, Belize. And it's great down here. None of that stuff matters. And you have to understand, Central America has a very close connection with like the United States as far as, you know, European colonialism. Mostly here it was the Spanish as opposed to like the U.S. and Canada where it was more British and such. But it's really a great place to be, and it's mostly in part because there really isn't that racial tension. Everybody here, whether you're Native American or whether you're European American or wherever you know come from, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter here like it does in the U.S. And it's just gotten to the point where I didn't want to be around it. I don't want to be around it. So I'm having a great time living here. That would bring me on to my second point is that as a digital entrepreneur and as somebody who builds websites and social media marketing and such, I don't need to live in the U.S. anymore because the the system's shut down right now with COVID. I mean, the jobs are completely remote. Everybody's sitting at home, so it's like, why would I sit up there in a place where I can't go out freely when I can come down here and just work? And that'll bring me to my next point, which is the cost of living. And the cost of living in Central America is very, very affordable compared to where I'd currently been, which was Miami. You can live here for about $300 a month in rent, and that's a pretty nice unit with air conditioning, hot water, things like that that are important to most Westerners. Although you don't need those things, you can find it even cheaper if you want to go without those things. Um, but the cost of living here, I'm somebody who really likes to go out and eat. I like to eat out like almost every day. And going out to eat a good meal here is much, much cheaper than the United States. When I go out to eat in the United States, I can easily pay, $40, $50 after tip and a meal and a couple drinks here I can do for $10, and I'm able to do it every single day. And that's a big reason why I continue to like to be down here is because the cost of living is just so much more affordable than a place like the United States. And it's a great uh, it's the next thing is just the weather. I mean, the weather here is absolutely perfect. If I turn this camera around, you see I'm sitting at a pool. It's completely sunny. Maybe I will actually do that real quick just to kind of show you, how people are able to live here in just this beautiful, like tropical, like every day I feel like I'm on vacation. And that's something, I mean, yeah, you can get in Miami and such, you can get in Texas and parts of California, but for the cost, like, I mean, literally, I got free coffee with my meal and my room this night. And this cup of coffee in the States, I paid, I think, $5 last night to stay here. And I would pay that enough at a Starbucks just to get my coffee. So when you really get down to it, I had to leave for several reasons, but I'm very happy I did. The weather, the lack of all this racial tension and political tension, the ability to, I mean, the people here are so friendly. And I know a lot of times Central America gets a kind of bad reputation in the United States because it does have a lot of these immigration issues and a lot of these border crossing issues and stuff. But once you get here, the people are amazing and they really appreciate you being here and stirring the economy. Like I enjoy spending money here because I know that it is helping the people here. That most people, I think, in the country of Nicaragua, it's around $200 a month that you have to live on, and that's a very tight budget even for the people who are living here. I mean, if you have kids, if you have your housing payments, if you have your buying food and stuff. Like I have friends that they basically eat rice and beans because of the costs of going out for them is very expensive. So with that being said, I just wanted to make a real quick video here on why I decided to leave the United States and why I really think more and more it's becoming a good idea, especially under this new administration with Biden, which is just, I mean, there's no love for the American people under this. The taxes are going up. The lockdowns are getting more intense, the mandatory vaccinations and things like that. Like I just don't see a reason to be up there anymore. And if you go down here to Panama, Panama is actually a very developed city. Maybe I can even pull this up. Because once you get to a city like Panama City, I mean, look at here, it's all these high rises and all of these bigger buildings. It's very much like living in Miami. I mean, the one drawback is you do need to learn Spanish, but I suggest every American learn Spanish these days because Spanish is just kind of becoming the even language of the United States with so much, every language in the Americas is pretty much Spanish except for Brazil, Canada, and the U.S., and a few Caribbean islands and such. But Spanish is, we're becoming a Spanish-speaking country, and learning that language is very beneficial to you. So I would recommend coming to a place like Panama City if you want more of a westernized lifestyle. However, Panama can be a little bit expensive. Costa Rica is another country that is basically Americanized. I mean, you go here, the highway systems, the country. Yeah, this part, some of the buildings and stuff are much older and colonial. However, the cost of living here is also very expensive compared to a country like Nicaragua. And then if you go up here to, let's see here, where I am, which is, I'll go to Managua because I spend a lot of time in Managua. Yeah, the system here is a lot more affordable, and you can see this is more of a socialist revolutionary type country. You see some of the socialist monuments here and such. And that part, you got to stay out of politics. You really can't play politics down here. You got to just be neutral and be quiet because it's not your country, it's not your problem. But as the U.S. goes more and more socialist, I guess it's not a big deal. And then if you go north to like Honduras, they obviously have a lot more issues. That's where a lot of the migrants come from. But El Salvador is great. It's becoming one of the nicer countries in Central America. And then you obviously have Guatemala, which also has a lot of crime and issues like that. And this is where a lot of these Central American people come up. They go through Mexico and go to the U.S. But with that being said, I just wanted to make a video on why I left the United States, why I don't plan on going back for any real reasons. Because honestly, politics, race relations, I mean, the weather here, the cost of living, I just don't see why anymore with the COVID lockdown. So, guys, just want to make a quick video talking about why the Patriotic Gringo is not in the U.S. anymore, why I don't plan on going back anytime soon, and why maybe you should consider, if you have the ability with these lockdowns and stuff to get out because man, I can't live in my bedroom for a year now that the lockdowns have been going. I need to be out here. This country is completely open. The restaurants, the bars, the buses, whatever. I mean, you check out these buses, man. People are packed like this. Ain't nobody wearing masks. And this is where I feel comfortable and where I have my girlfriend here, and we're happy. So I just wanted to make that video why I left. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. Catch me in the next video. Take care. Peace.